welcome to the Astro Forecast for the week of April 10th to the 16th. This is a great week. We have Venus moving into Gemini. We have one of the most lucky days of the year in this week. This is a pretty light week. I mean, as we get into later in the week, there's a little bit more responsibility, let's say, coming in. But we start off this week with a third quarter moon phase, meaning the moon is losing light, right? It became full with that Libra full moon last week. And this week now it is starting to lose light as it's getting ready to move into the new moon eclipse in Aries next week. That's a potent time. So we're already in eclipse season. So evolution, things that are happening around us now are coming up for us to understand what needs to be shifted, what needs to be released from our life, and maybe some new things that need to be started in that releasing. So on this day, later in the day at 10:47 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, depending on where you are, that could be the next day at 12 in the morning, 12:47 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Venus moves into Gemini. Venus is about what we love and value, relationships, our connection with money, beauty, aesthetics, self-esteem. It's all kind of wrapped up in there. And so, kind of self-esteem, more so how we see ourselves as beautiful is kind of part of that. Self-esteem could also be seen sort of as Mars or moon energy too. But that Venus in Gemini makes us flirty, makes us want to connect with others, wanting to talk and laugh and have a good time, curious. We want to learn new things. So taking courses, signing up for things. Your money kind of leaves you in spits and spurts during this time. So being really careful, like shiny object syndrome is Gemini, right? Where you're like, oh my God, I need that rock, or I need that crystal, or I need that course, or I need that hat, or I need that purse, or I need those shoes. So those kinds of purchases might come up for you during this time with Venus and Gemini. And we can use this for our highest and best to go for brunch, to join workshops, to take classes, to learn about things that are really kind of, pulling to your curiosity. Gemini is about curiosity, connection, and community, right? Those are the 3 C's of Gemini. So when we think about that in your life, using this Venus energy, she's now moving out of Taurus, which is about safety, security, spending money in a kind of wise, budgeted way, taking action with slow, methodical steps. Now we're moving fast, right? It's mutable air. So it's intelligence and ideas that go everywhere. And we need to make sure that we're bringing that into groundedness, right? Mercury is in Taurus right now, so it's going to help to bring some groundedness in, which is going to help us out. But this Venus Gemini energy is really beautiful. Like it allows us to connect and flirty as well. Great for dating and connecting to people if you're, on the dating scene, single and ready to mingle, as it were. And if you're, in a relationship, this is great for having connections with friends and going and trying new things. And yeah, having a great time. Now, the downside to Gemini energy, Venus and Gemini, it can make us a little fickle, right? We can want to do the thing and then we don't want to do the thing, right? It's the twins, the introvert and the extrovert, the passive and the aggressive, I guess you could say. So it's more of this kind of duality of the sign of yeah, we want to learn, but we don't want to share, or not really share, because they love to connect people. But it's the sign of the introvert and the extrovert kind of in one, right? So there's a dynamic. So being cautious with what invitations you accept. And if an invitation comes to you, give yourself 24 hours to sort of sit with it and go, does this still light up my heart? Because sometimes things feel really exciting with this Gemini energy. And then later you're like, why did I say yes to that? Right? I'm really exciting up till 8 p.m. at night. So you know what? You don't have to accept. You don't have to do that if it doesn't feel right to you, and just sit with it, right? Just sit with it. So Tuesday, April 11th. It's one of the most auspicious days of the year. It is the sun coming to the same degree as Jupiter. So the sun is moving 1 degree every day, and the sun is in Aries, and Jupiter is also in Aries. So they are going to come to sit at the exact same degree. Jupiter is about expansion. So some people call this cazimi, when they almost sort of say when a planet comes into the 0 degree mark, conjunction with the sun is so bright, it almost kind of blows it out, burns it up, right? It's called cazimi. I actually think it amplifies. There's sort of two schools of thought. One is that it zeroes out the planet. The other one is that it amplifies the planet. And I feel like it amplifies. The sun amplifies. The energy lightens, right? It's vitality. So when these two dynamics come together, Jupiter is called the great benefic. Jupiter is what expands, it's optimism, it's good luck, it's harmony. Interestingly enough, Jupiter rules the law, Jupiter rules travel, Jupiter rules like higher learning and like philosophy and understanding, like universities and things like that, higher knowledge, taking the high road, right? So with Jupiter and the sun coming together in Aries, this is an opportunity for new beginnings, expansion, trying new things, pioneering energy, inventions, creativity, leadership, right? All of these wonderful things. So on this day, Tuesday, April 11th, what can you start today? And I highly recommend go buy a lottery ticket. Go buy a lottery ticket. If you win, please send me flowers. Just kidding. You don't have to send me anything. My blessings to you. Use this energy for your highest and best. Go buy a lottery ticket. Positive, optimistic, well-being, great for studying something new, happiness, optimism, wealth, relationships, and wealth as well. Well, that's going to come on the next thing that's happening on this day as well. But this is a great day. Do something fun, do something lucky, right? This is a very lucky day. In my Lucky Girl Syndrome workshop that we're doing, this is going to be a day where I'm going to like super highlight it out to everybody. So if you're in that workshop, shout out, this is a day to put on your calendar. All right. Also on this day, Venus is trine to Pluto. So Venus is, again, what we love and value, now at that 0-degree mark of Gemini, and Pluto is at that 0-degree mark of Aquarius, two air signs, 120-degree angle. It's a trine. It's a very auspicious angle. Now, Pluto is intense, right? Pluto is intensity, death, rebirth, and transformation. And when Venus relationships come together with Pluto, this can be intense relationships. This can be like intense attraction, right? Or mental stimulation, because they're both air signs, Aquarius and Gemini. And so when we have these two planets come together in a trine, this can feel like intense interactions with others, great for passionate, deep sex. This is great for relationships and getting to the bottom of things, uncovering therapy, because Pluto is sort of psychology and getting to the depths of why we do what we do, right? Deep mental connection, intensity and passion, increased desire for love and affection. So this can bring up where we feel a desire for love and affection, but we're not getting it. Right. So if you have a disorganized attachment style or an anxious attachment style, you want somebody to love you, but you're scared, right? Or you're wanting to be in connection with them, but you're sending mixed signals because you're kind of nervous that relationships means fear or mean hurt. So this is going to be a time where if you have dysfunction, emotional wounds or trauma about relationships and relationship styles, which really go back to our childhood, right? We learn about relationships from our mom and our dad. And so if there was dysfunction there, if there was dysregulation there as a child, we will take that on to mean something about ourselves. So this Venus trine to Pluto will bring that up for you. So maybe someone will bring you flowers and you're like, you're going to abandon me later. And they're like, here's your flowers, like it's going to bring up for you where you might be needing some help, where you need some healing. And I'm going to invite you to bring along self-compassion and some love, and really bring some love and compassion to that side of you, to that part of you, to that little person inside of you that is feeling triggered in that moment, or is feeling like, I want this thing, but I don't think I can have it. Okay. That's going to bring that up. The other side of this is Venus, remember, rules money, right? And so with trine to Pluto, there can be kind of an intense windfall, so money can come in, or an intense loss. So you might even feel like, why can't I get the money? Why, this is going to bring up healing in those areas for yourself too. Great for fashion and art, finding, things that are kind of these like cool buys for yourself as well. Maybe even eclectic buys because of that Aquarius energy. Increased desires, as I mentioned, possible, sexual attraction, new romance, again, great for dating. And it can bring to the surface money issues where we're feeling like money's not supporting us or money doesn't love us. Money is benign, right? It doesn't have a personality. But when we start to feel into our connection with money, you can start to feel money kind of does have a personality, right? Money does treat us in certain ways, and we feel certain ways about money. So even digging into that for you, this will be a great day for that. And go buy a lottery ticket, right? Hope for the best. I'm wishing you so much luck. I'm wishing you so much luck. All right, Wednesday, April 12th, nothing really going on. We have the moon just for a few moments going to be opposite Mars. So there can be a little bit of frustration, but also great energy for genius ideas and genius thinking on Wednesday. Thursday, again, no real major aspects, maybe some intense emotions on that day. We're feeling a little sensitive with the moon sextile to Neptune, and then trine to Venus and conjunct Pluto that day. So there can be a feeling of just deep feelings of emotions, and these aspects of the sun conjunct to Jupiter and Venus trine to Pluto is going to be an aspect all week, right? And then Venus is also just at that beginning degrees of Gemini. So these energies are going to be in play for the whole week. It's going to be a good week. Now, as we move into Friday, April 14th, we have Venus square to Saturn. So a square is a challenge or a crisis or kind of difficult to integrate. And Venus, again, what we love and value, it's the Venus story this week, really. And so Venus is at that 0 degrees mark of Gemini, and Saturn has moved into Pisces. So we have this Saturn square to Venus, and Saturn is about responsibility, structure, duty. It can be scarcity, fear, restriction, right? Doing the right thing, right? It's John Law, right? It's not fun, right? Saturn is a taskmaster of the zodiac. So when we have Venus square to Saturn, where are you not taking responsibility in your relationships? Where are you not taking responsibility in your money story? Where are you not taking responsibility in the way that you feel about yourself and feeling good in yourself, right? So where are you not, really digging to the depths of your spiritual and the healing that is needed? Pisces is where all like therapy, psychology, or the subconscious, karmic, things that we've kind of brought in from past lives, that can be more Scorpio. But there's definitely this feeling of Pisces' transcendence and spirituality. So Saturn is asking you to take responsibility spiritually for what you came here to do in Pisces. And then Saturn square to that is asking you to really use the information and the courses that you've taken and all the books that you have read and really put it into action to take responsibility for your life and build the life you want to build, right? You're not at the mercy of these powers around you. You might have relationships in your life, Venus. You might have a job, that is paying your bills, but you don't really love Saturn. And there's things that you're going to have to do in your life that you might not really be happy about, Saturn. And so there's that square to, I feel like I want to do this thing, but I can't, right? It's kind of this stuck sort of feeling. And squares are meant to help us evolve, right? If you have a square, guaranteed, many people have squares in their natal charts. It is this part of us that came here to evolve. Your spirit came into physical form to evolve, to grow, to expand, right? To have these experiences, shine up facets of your soul. So with this energy, Venus square to Saturn, it's not easy because we're going to be tasked, we're going to be challenged in places where you maybe are taking too much responsibility. Maybe you're a people pleaser, or maybe you're not taking enough responsibility for yourself. Maybe you're not eating healthy, and so then you're not feeling good about yourself. Venus, right? That self-image and our beauty and aesthetic. And so can be that feeling of like, oh, no matter what I do, I'll never be thin. Or no matter what I do, I'll never be loved enough or fit in, right? But you're never meant to be fitting. You're never meant to fit in, right? Saturn in Pisces is like, you came here with a soul agenda. You came here with a soul purpose. Are you living that soul purpose? Are you abdicating authority? Are you giving it away because you feel like you're not enough, right? So how can we bring that back into our life? Bring the power back to ourselves. Saturn is about self-mastery, right? And when Saturn is in Pisces, now it's like, how can we be the masters of our soul and really be ambassadors for that soul aspect that always knows where we need to go, right? Always is telling us, is nudging us through our intuition that these are the right paths and this doesn't feel so right anymore. Maybe you've outgrown relationships. That's okay. It's okay to say goodbye to those, or it's okay to say thank you for everything you've taught me. Right. So this can be bringing up some relationship issues, where if relationships have cracks in it, this square is going to really shake those cracks to the surface to either fall apart or to be filled in and healed. Right. You get to decide, you have free will. And you'll know when a chapter is done, right? All you can do is release it and see what happens with love, right? So delays, distance, issues in relationships, be cautious in what you share, because Venus is connection. So this can be gossipy energy, right? Venus in Gemini square to Saturn is being responsible for what we share and who we're connecting with and what information we are letting out into the public. So be careful with what you share, gossip, and what you spend. This might be lonely and depressive energy as well. So maybe feeling isolated, contract around money, beauty, and relationships. Be spendthrift on this week. Okay, really be thoughtful in what you're spending on and what deserves your money. Right? Don't just allow that Gemini energy to take you on a roller coaster ride that later you're like, I bought these crystals, I bought all this jewelry, I bought all these courses, and now I'm like, I can't pay my bills, or I can't actually sign up for this thing that I really want to sign up for now. So using your resources wisely is going to be really important with this Saturn square to the Venus square to Saturn. Also not a great day and not a great sort of, I'll say Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday to make any sort of big purchases with that square to Saturn. You might have some challenges, to warranty, or there might be some loopholes in there. I would just say to just not a great time to make a big purchase with that square to Saturn. So wishing you a wonderful week, taking that luck with you throughout the week and being wise with your spending, with where you're allocating resources to. And, that Gemini energy can come in and feel exuberant and exciting and wanting to connect and do all the things, but it also can really burn you out depending on your natal charts, right? So just really using this energy wisely and being grounded in reality with the fact that there's budgets, there's things to pay, there's, responsibilities here that you also have to keep in mind with the fun and the exuberance and the optimism. All right. So wishing you a great week, a lucky week, and if it feels aligned for you, and of course, if it fits in your financial situation, of course, always do what's right for you. Have a great week.